Our listeners do like a good Western
Mm.
and a good men's adventure.
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah. It's funny. We both, one of the books I'm going to talk about, written by someone who, at the end of their life, I guess, was openly gay,
Mm.
but not by choice, probably. Uh, so we could, we got all the gays today. So
Having said that, I'm Paul,
I'm Steve.
and this is Check Your Shelf.
Those of
That's,
you
yeah.
who are familiar with our old show, Don't Panic, this may start to feel a little like that, but more polished. Meaning we tried out a lot of stuff. They say
Yeah.
if you like baseball, batting average kid is around 250, 300. You'll have a great career if that's your batting average, right? But what that means is you're hitting 1 out of every 4 pitches. But sometimes you have a really low batting average, but like get a lot of home runs, right? That's us. With Don't Panic, we had a lot of at bats and struck out a lot. But man, did we
Yeah.
have a few home runs?
Yes, we did. Some of which even made it on the show.
Yeah. Today might feel a little like that because it's a reading report day. It's a reading report. Howie, wait. No, Bob. Reading report day, Bob. In which we talk about things we are reading, trying to read, have read, may at some point read. That's how we do reading reports around here.
I don't know how you do it. This is how we do it.
I'm currently reading several things simultaneously, so we'll talk about those. I don't know where you've gotten the time to read all the things you just said you read. Yeah, I got 3 novels, 2 collections of poems, and 4 books of verse.
And I wrote a short story. So.
And I wrote some stuff. It's a writing report too, Bob.
I pretty much just checked out of reality for about a month and a half now, and just read a bunch of books.
Reality's overrated.
I don't recommend it.
Yeah.
1 out of 5 stars would not recommend.
9 out of 10 doctors recommend that you unplug from reality, and the other doctor went insane. Is living in an insane asylum.
I noticed that some booktubers have been talking about like movie tie-in books, and it's never really been a thing that I've done. Like I read Black Hole when I was a kid because I still love that movie. I read Predator when it came out because it was it read like an action adventure novel just with an alien. And I've read maybe 1 or 2. Oh, The Sword and the Sorcerer was another one with the guy that had like the 3-bladed sword and the blade shot off. Remember that movie?
Yes.
We saw it in the theater, trust me.
Yes.
But we also saw a lot of bad movies in the theater about that time.
Conan's commercial success was responsible for more bad movies than whoever keeps giving Adam Sandler money to make movies.
Oh my God. Yeah, for real. I mean, how much money did Waterboy make that they still keep betting on him? Anyway, so when I found out that one of my absolute favorite movies had a novelization tie-in, I hunted it down and picked it up. And that movie, which came out in 1987, and I got a story about it, was Extreme Prejudice, starring Nick Nolte and a whole bunch of other guys. Clancy Brown, Powers Booth, Rip Torn, Maria Chiquita Alonso, who was the it girl at the time. So many so many people were in this movie, and it was directed by Walter Hill. But a couple years ago, I was at I think Flashback Weekend in Chicago, which is like a horror convention, and me and Nick from Return to the Sun of the show, link down below. we were set up there, and it's a blast. I love horror conventions. Anyway, William Sadler, who you might remember from Raising Arizona, he was one of the two brothers that escaped from prison. He was the short one. He's also in Extreme Prejudice. Well, he was there because he's been in like some Rob Zombie movies and stuff, so he's kind of a horror name now. Well, we were getting ready to leave, and we're walking out, and Nick like, dude, and he points over there, and like William Sadler's talking to some vendor about like horror magazines or something. And he's got a Hawaiian shirt on and cut off, like khakis and flip-flops, looks just like a normal dude. And so I'm like, oh, I'm not going to not do this. So I waited patiently while he was talking, and he turns around, looks at me, and he goes, can I help you? And I'm like, so no. I said, I just want to shake your hand and thank you for helping participate and create the last of the full-grown movies. And he knew exactly what I was talking about. I didn't say Extreme Prejudice. This movie is like one of the manliest movies, the last of the manly movies ever made. He tells me, he goes, oh, Sam Peckinpah's gone, but we got to carry on. So yeah, I had this at your house when we were we did our live vlog, or whatever you want to call it.
Let's call it live vlog.
Yeah, basically, I'll just give a rundown of the plot before I go into it, because I have a question as to why movie tie-ins anyway. Extreme Prejudice is basically a story. It's kind of like High Noon. It's a story of Texas Ranger, his best friend who's a drug czar, and the woman that's caught between the two of them. In the meantime, there's this secret paramilitary covert operation to basically steal papers that belong to the drug lord, because the guy who is in charge of the paramilitary team has done business with them, and the feds are about to basically ransack his operation, and this dude wants his name off the records, and in the process steals a couple of $1 million so that he can just retire in comfort. But it's the book doesn't. The book follows the movie pretty religiously. Unfortunately, the beginning of the movie and the beginning of the book are different, and the only reason why they could do what they could do in the movie is because it's a visual medium, so you kind of lose that cool in the beginning when like the planes are landing and like these people, like these guys here, these are like the paramilitary guys. You get like all their backstories and stuff on like printer paper back in the day. Oh, by the way, there is no way in no world where that's Nick Nolte. I don't know. That mustache is about as fake as frog hair. So I don't know who this is supposed to be. But it's a good adaptation. It kind of delves into like because Nolte plays the Texas Ranger. It like delves into like his past and stuff, about his time in the military, his time working for the feds. His dad was a Texas Ranger. His grandpa was a Texas Ranger, so he's a Texas Ranger. Stuff like that was kind of fun, but it really doesn't add too much to it. I was talking to everybody's favorite booktuber, Nick from Book Graveyard, about why novelizations, and how to me they just seem like fan fiction for a movie. But I don't regret buying it. It was fun. But yeah, if you get a chance, just Extreme Prejudice is it's in my top 5 favorite movies of all time. Walter Hill, who was like a protege of Sam Peckinpah, directed it. So it's got all the sweat, bullets, blood, gratuitous nudity you could possibly want in a movie. So yeah, I read this.
I don't know. That's a pretty tall order. Are you sure it's got
there,
all
man.
I could possibly want?
Oh man, it's there, and it has a glorious ending. That's all I'm saying.
So Nick at the book Graveyard has overtaken Michael K. Vaughan now as everybody's favorite booktuber. It's probably the high-powered, big-name guests he's been able to get on his show.
That's right.
I would say we'll put a link to his channel down below, but you probably already watch it. If you don't, why are you even on BookTube?
Considering like him and Michael K. Vaughan are the reasons why I wanted to start a channel anyway.
Oh, there you go. Perfect. Speaking of men's adventure, I bought this one when you were in town. And
oh, yeah.
I've read through, this is, for those of you listening to the audio version, this is Indiana Jones and the Curse of Horror Island by R.L. Stine, and it's a Find Your Fate adventure. And
nice.
I've read through a few. I've, I'm doing what I always did when I was a kid, trying to figure out a pattern, trying to figure out the way to get to the good story. And there are definitely some patterns. Like, for example, they want you to trust cops. R.L. Stine's trying to get kids to trust cops. And always forward. Don't ever go backwards. Like, always go forward toward the adventure and not away from the adventure. And yeah, what do you got there?
This is
what you floating on 7. There? Number 7?
This one here. Yeah. This is the one that I'm sending to Brian from Bad Taste as soon as I finish translating it into a game for my gamers on Saturday.
Gotcha. I did some poking around on the internet and discovered that the one I had when I was a kid that I'm now like, they go for like $40 or $50, I think.
Yeah.
It's called The Cave of Time.
And
I remember that one. I don't know. I probably had more than that one, but that was the main one, The Cave of Time. And it was an original choose your own adventure, not a find your fate adventure.
Yeah. Well, as you well know, my mom was the head librarian at our school. So all the new books that came in, we got to see first.
Nice.
So every choose your own adventure that came along, I read before anybody else did.
Nice.
Yeah. So
yeah, this is good. It's a blast from the past, and so far I haven't been able to get to a really good adventure. Like so far I either die or am so successful that it just ends. I have not gotten to and then you get to fight some. What ends up happening is you're supposed to end up on an island, and there's a panther involved and some island native folks who are native to the island, and you're supposed to have to run away from them or something. I haven't gotten to any of the fancy stuff yet, so I'm out of practice.
You either die right away, or it takes a while to get to the action in those stories.
Yeah.
When I was outlining that book for the game that I'm going to be running soon, like I had this piece of paper on my table that looked like Charlie's billboard or Charlie's whiteboard, from Always Sunny.
Yeah.
And my Toad comes up to me and he's like, "What's with the chart?" And I'm like, I'm mapping this choose your own adventure so that I can turn it into a game for the guys. He just goes, "Nerd," and starts around and walked away.
Nerd. That's an awesome idea.
It was so much fun, and reading it, and the game system that I'm running the guys on currently takes place around that time period, and of course they all play little old dowager widows with psychic powers, but not so much bullwhip carrying archaeologists. But it just translated so obvious. It would work so perfect for it. So yeah, it finally happened, Steve. I read a Western I did not DNF it, and it was really, really good.
The Guns at Gray Butte.
Yeah, the Guns at Gray Butte or Gray Butte. I picked this up when we were doing our vlog, so it's just a coincidence that it happens to be June on the Range that I read this. But somebody had told me that it was either going to be really good or really bad, depending on the stage of Lewis B. Patton's career. But because allegedly he had a drinking problem, and you know how that goes. But the Guns at Gray Butte basically it starts out very much like Rio Bravo, which is one of my, in spite of being John Wayne, it's one of my absolute favorite movies. It's as you may not know this, but it's sort of a remake of El Dorado, which is also a John Wayne movie. But when they wrote Rio Bravo, they brought in Lee Brackett, who was a science fiction writer back in the day. She was good friends with Ray Bradbury, and sometimes when he wouldn't finish the story, he'd hand it off to her and she'd finish it for him. And he'd go through it and he's like, I can't tell where I stopped and you started, She was great. In fact, she wrote Empire Strikes Back, and then George Lucas screwed it all up with the whole I am your father bullshit. So
Empire Strikes Back, the first of the Star Wars, in the Star Wars franchise.
You're going in Steve's viewing order. But yeah, when I first started reading it, I'm like, this is just Rio Bravo, but I'm going to stick around because I liked Rio Bravo. And what happens is, it changes drastically about a third of the way into it. But there's this young lady, she's like everyone in the town of Gray Butte, which is built next to this huge butte, which is important for the story. Everyone loves this girl. She's just everybody's favorite person, and one night she's lottie-dying through town, and she gets assaulted in a way that YouTube wouldn't like it if I said it. Yeah. Well, her fiance is Gray Butte's deputy, and he goes crazy with rage. Finds this guy, this homeless guy living in the town, figures it's him, drags him into the jail. Everyone in the town wants to kill the guy. They want to just string him up, and they're to the point where they don't care if they if they shoot the deputy and the sheriff. I think that's a song. I
don't think the deputy gets shot in that song.
Oh, that's right. He did not shoot the deputy. Then they find out, wait a minute, there's this other guy hiding up on the foothills of the butte, and they think maybe it's him. So the deputy goes after him, meanwhile leaving the sheriff to guard the guy in the jail to keep the townspeople from just lynching the guy. And the sheriff runs away. He's like, you know what? Nah, I'm out. So he runs off. So this poor deputy, and his aged father, who if I remember right, was the sheriff a long time ago in Gray Butte. They know damn well that one of these guys did what they did, but the deputy is to the point where he's a letter of the law kind of guy. He doesn't, he wants justice to be served. Well, this really cool thing happens where they notify when they figure out that the first guy didn't do it, but they keep him locked up anyway. When they figure out who actually did it, they send a telegram to the guy's brother, thinking, hey, you might want to, I just want to let you know your brother's in jail. Well, that was a mistake, because the brother turns out to be worse than the guy sitting in the jail. And he brings his buddies in the town. They terrorize the town. They do this real clever thing where they steal a bunch of dynamite from, the general store, when you could just do that. And they go, because the town is built so close to the butte, they go up into the cliff area foothills of it, plant all this dynamite, and they're like, all right, now if you don't release my brother, we're gonna light this wick. And Deputy, who's no dummy, he's like, you do that, your brother's gonna die. So it's like a standoff. It's really, I mean, it's only like 130 pages or something like that, but it's really tense and really well done. And I'm like, nah, I might have to look for more of Lewis B. Patton's. I don't want to ruin the ending of it, but I might have to look for more of this guy's stuff, because this was really entertaining, and it was my favorite size, small. And the back, I won't read the I won't read the back, because this synopsis drops the ball so hard on the story that, like, who wrote this? But yeah, The Guns of Greybutte by Lewis B. Patton. I was like 1960, I think this came out. I was really impressed.
My turn. Finally, look how far in it. This is The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. I don't have my hat. You have an Oscar Wilde hat. Oscar Wilde, one of his most famous plays, he's only written one novel. One of his most famous plays is called The Importance of Being Earnest. There we go. Now we got the Oscar Wilde hat.
There you go.
Going. Yeah. So you may have known that if you're a fan of Return of the Son of the Show, link down below. But he wrote one novel, did Oscar Wilde.
Yeah.
And it's called The Picture of Dorian Gray. And I'm going to talk about it every few weeks as I make my way through it. I'm about a quarter of the way through chapter 3, as you can see with my little makeshift bookmark there. And you can also see the nice gold cap there, text block, whatever it's called. And it's one of these neat Arcturus, with a little bear. Arcturus with a little bear on it. Oh, look at the cute little bear.
Arcturus makes some pretty nice stuff, honestly.
Yeah.
It's a lot of public domain stuff, but who the hell cares? The livery, as the kids say, is beautiful. So,
and the cover is in relief. It's like this gold leaf. Well, it's not real gold, obviously, but it's textured and it's in relief, as they say. And it's really nice to sit around and read this. Look how cool I look.
Yeah. Hey, Steve, what are you reading there?
Oh, it's The Picture of Dorian Gray.
Wow,
the other day.
You're cool.
Thank you. The other day, the kids were all gone, and my wife and I were just sitting, and there was some YouTube thing on the TV. And we were sitting there reading, and I said, do you want to read together? Do you want to sit next to each other? And I'll hold the book and we can read. She's like, let's do that thing where we read a chapter to each other. And so I started reading this out loud. I was like, that entirely depends on how you sit today, Dorian. Oh, I am tired of sitting, and I don't want a life-size portrait of myself, answered the lad, swinging around on the music stool in a willful, petulant manner. And she's like, okay, that's enough.
It sounds good in theory.
Yeah.
But,
This is a beautiful book, by the way. Those of you, it's interesting when they talk about Oscar Wilde in the introduction. He is Oscar Fingal O'Flaherty Wills Wilde, born to an Anglo-Irish family in Dublin on 16 October. Shares birthday with my mom. 1854, and died tragically in 1900 in Paris. He was, I don't know the details of his life, but the way they phrase it here is he, in the mid 1890s, he was found guilty of gross indecency. It says, okay, he said there were two plays running simultaneously in London. It was The Importance of Being Earnest and An Ideal Husband. And he became involved in a scandal that resulted in his being found guilty of gross indecency basically somebody found out he was gay, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
And
Yeah.
that was against the law at that time. And he was sentenced to 2 years of hard labor, an experience that broke his health. After his release, he left for France, never to return to the British Isles. And then he died about 3 years later in Paris in 1900. A life cut too short. He's a beautiful, brilliant writer. I mean, just, reading it out loud makes it sound boring, which I'm good at. But I mean, every sentence, every paragraph, you kind of have to pay attention when you're reading this. I'm talking to you, Mr. Pulp Mortem. You got to sit up in your seat. You can't do your speed reading thing if you're going to read this one. You gotta really take it all in, right? And like when we with Nick and Brian when we did that one story where they're like, I don't remember that part. I guess I was reading it too fast. Can't do that with this one. But it's beautiful, and you can tell you get a lot of Oscar Wilde in there. Like you can tell how he views the world. And so I've heard about what this book is about. I believe it's there's a portrait of this gentleman, Dorian Gray, and I'm in the middle of chapter 3, so I could tell you what I know so far, and I could tell you what I think's gonna happen. But as I read more, I will come back during our reading reports and let everybody know how it's going. But basically, we start off with these two fellas, and there's a painter and then his aristocratic friend who's one of his patrons, right? And the painter tells him about this person he met named Dorian Gray, who's just beautiful. I mean, look at him. Look how beautiful Dorian Gray is. And he is this beautiful man who is dumb as a box of rocks, right? And he's like, I really don't want to tell you much about him and I really am not going to sell the painting when I'm done with it because there's too much of me in the painting. And his friend, whose name is Harry, he's like, I also don't want you to meet him because I know what you're like and you'll ruin everything. So as luck would have it, Dorian shows up while this guy's visiting the artist, and Harry takes Dorian out into the garden and pretty much ruins him by talking to him about, you're young, you're gorgeous, and that's not going to last forever. So enjoy it. Make bad decisions. Do the things that only gorgeous people can do, because all you have is youth. All you have is your looks. And once that starts to go, you lose everything. Nothing's worth it anymore. All you'll have is what you can look back on and know what you did with your youth. And this kid's like, oh God. And he gets back in there. And the artist finishes the portrait and says, okay, this is my masterpiece. I've never done anything this good. And Harry looks at it and agrees. And he's like, I will pay you anything you want if I can have this. This is your masterpiece. This is better than anything. It's gorgeous, right? And he's like, I'm giving it to Dorian. I'm not selling it. You can't have it. I'm giving it to Dorian. So Dorian comes over and looks at it and immediately gets depressed because he's like, that painting, is that me? He's like, yeah, that's you. It's you, right? And he's like, but I'm going to get old and lose my looks and my youth. This painting's not, right? So I can't stand the fact that this painting exists now. And the artist says, I wish I'd never painted it in the first place. This is why I didn't want you to meet him. You've ruined him, Harry. You've ruined Dorian Gray. And you've ruined a good thing. And he's like, nah, don't worry about it. At least you have the painting. And he's like, not for long. And he grabs a, what do you call it? The kind of, when you want to paint, but it's like you're scraping the paint onto the thing.
Or not. Well, you can call it a knife. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, knife. It's a knife, a painting knife, right? He pulls a little thin one. He's gonna rip the painting to shreds. But Harry grabs it and he's like, "How dare you? This is beautiful." And Dorian's like, "You know what? I wish I would never grow old." He's like, "I would give anything if this painting would grow old, but not me. I want to be the one to stay forever young. Let the painting grow old." and I would give anything, even my own soul.
Bum, bum, bum.
And that's about as far as I've gotten. If anything I've heard about this book or the movie is accurate, I believe that was a little foreshadowing right there.
Yeah.
My son asked me if it's gothic. He said, "Is it gothic, or is it just that all the goth people I know want to read it or have read it and talk about it?" So I'm not sure. I could see it being gothic because I just got to the point where he said he would sell his soul to be able to stay young forever and let the painting get old. And I'm like, we're probably going to have some dread. We're probably going to have some supernatural spooky stuff go on. Probably some supernatural dread. So
yeah,
could be gothic. I don't know. What do you guys think? Is gothic?
Yeah,
we'll find out.
That's an interesting point because, like, all right, it's definitely like Victorian or whatever they call it, whatever that era was. But like, if a bunch of goths want to read it and like it, doesn't it like wouldn't it shift over into that by just association at that point?
Well, Gothic literature is one thing. Modern Gothic culture is another thing. Ancient Goths who sacked Rome are yet another thing.
That's what I like to tell. I told my oldest, I says, when you're out, like when all your friends are being all goths and everything, you can just tell them you're the OG because that's basically where you're from.
Yeah,
so
the Germanic tribes.
You're the Germanic tribes that kicked the crap out of Rome for a while.
Oh yeah, if you haven't killed a couple of legions in the Teutoburg forest, can you even call yourself a goth?
Are you even goth, bro? Speaking of gay men,
you're just gonna let that sit there for a second.
I've started reading. Well, actually, I started reading SOB's number 4, Show No Mercy, early last month before everything pretty much fell apart, and I haven't gotten back to it yet. But I was doing some research. Jack Hild is the I'm going to review this in my Barabbas report later, so I'm not going to give a full rundown on the story. But Jack Hild is the pen name of a handful of writers that worked on this series. One of the primary writers was a guy named Robin Hardy, who, like, if you open up the inside of these books, it'll always say, like, special thanks and acknowledgement to insert name here for their contribution to this book, which basically means thanks for writing it. Here's your check for $5,000 or whatever they paid. Yeah. But Robin Hardy wrote a good chunk of these. He also wrote a bunch of other books too, but he was an openly gay man. He was an activist, an advocate, and I just think it's
wonderful collection of scarves.
I just think it's interesting that these kind of books typically attract a certain type of reader. And I think it's hilarious that this guy basically pulled one over on all these guys all these years, because had they known, they probably never would have read it. But, there was no social media back then, so it was hard to tell. But I think that it's one more reason why I love this series. And I only just found this out recently, with a little help from the Paperback Warrior. But unfortunately, Hardy died, I think, in the early 90s. And he died in like a tragic mountain climbing accident. So I'm like, all right, so here you go. You got this gay guy, openly gay man, writing these manly series, and he dies doing one of the manliest things there is on the planet, falling off the side of a mountain. The book is good. Another thing about Hardy was, and like I said, I'll review it when I'm done with it. Hardy was Canadian. So it makes sense. This is his first book in the series, and it makes sense that the new character that he introduces into it, Jeff Bishop, who is their pilot, is Canadian. So I'm like, that was kind of I would have done the same thing, because why not? There's no Canadians in it. It's like there's no Canadians in this book, so I'm going to put one in there.
Yeah.
And of course, he's going to be, a really cool character on top of it. But yeah, Show No Mercy. It's really good. But I'll review it later. I just wanted to share that with anybody who cared.
I care. I care deeply.
I know you care.
I don't have my copy of the Martian Chronicles. I have been reading it in my Kindle app on my phone, which is almost necessary because it's the book I've been reading when I go to bed, and I lay there and read for a bit till I get tired. And I finished There Will Be Soft Rains, which is excellent. If you are a house or you love someone who has a house, this one can hit kind of hard. Also, a dog dies in it.
Everybody dies in it.
Yeah. There's a lot of indication of a lot of people have died. Martians and Earthlings alike.
Yeah.
And also, I finished. I didn't finish it. Which one did I finish? I finished There Will Be Soft Rains. I finished. It's basically Martian Chronicles. In case you missed the show we did on it with Jake from Pulp Mortem.
I'll try to put it down below if I remember.
It was short stories, and then somebody recommended he do a fix-up and turn it into a novel, so he did. Because
it's probably one of the best fix-ups ever.
Yeah, but the nice thing about it is you can read it as you can just pick it up and read a short story out of it, and it works. You don't have to be like, oh, it's a novel, so I have to start at the beginning and work my way back and all that stuff. I wish I had I know what I can do. Wait. Oh, The Million Year Picnic I'm not finished with, but I've started. And it takes place after There Will Be Soft Rains. A family somehow got a rocket to Mars, and the dad's like, oh, we're going on a picnic. And the kids are like, where is everybody? Why are there these empty cities? And he's like, okay. This is more than just a picnic. We're here to stay. But this is your city now. It's yours to do whatever you want with, and, your descendants, and you will be, so it's kind of like a new beginning, right?
Yeah.
What was the other one? I think it was The Long Years, with the one where, I finished that one too. The one where dude lives with his wife and kids, and then a rocket comes, and it's an old friend of his, and they have lunch or whatever. And then the dude finds out, spoiler alert, it's not really his wife and kids because they're too young to be his wife and kids. Turns out his wife and kids died from a virus like 20 years ago. So he made robots that are very lifelike to play his wife and kids. And then when the guy that landed on the rocket had been out by Jupiter, so he didn't know what was going on Earth. He didn't know what was going on Mars. But he comes back, meets his old friend, has this whole crew with him. They have lunch or breakfast or whatever. He's like, and then the dude dies because the dude that had been on Mars had just been waiting all these years to either be rescued or to see somebody. Once he saw somebody, like, he died, so they buried him with his wife and kids who were off in the cemetery. So now robot wife and robot kids, they're like, so what do we do, boss? Do we kill him? What do we do? And they're like, nah, let's just let them stay here. So now robot wife and kids just, I guess they're going to live out their long life on Mars as robots.
Yeah. There's so much in that. And the fact, the reason, being a fix-up novel, there's so many things, avenues you could explore with your mind about, well, what happens next, Like, there's the one story where the astronauts come to Mars, and the one guy basically goes native and kills everybody in his party, and then wanders off into the Martian sunset or whatever. I always thought it would have been hilarious if, like, at the end of the long picnic, the Million Year Picnic.
Yeah.
The kids are like, there's the stream, and they're like looking at the water in the stream, and then you see like the shadow of the other astronaut come up over with his gun, and then you cue Springsteen's Born to Run, and
that sounds good to me. Yeah, so I'm reading it backwards, and it's been years since I read it the first time, so I'm forgetting stuff. Like, I'm sitting here going, do I remember what happened on Earth? Because all they keep saying is there's just war. It's just war on Earth. And then finally they're like, I got one of the last rockets out. And I'm like, I got to go earlier and figure out what happened to Earth, because I can't remember.
Yes. Yeah. Well, when you view it in the context of a novel, you would do that. But if you were just reading the short stories separately, they're just like, okay, there was a war, and here we are.
Something's going on Earth. Yeah. It's probably not good. You hope it's a miracle. Probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Well, I got one last book that I'm working on.
All right.
That I'll touch on. Long-time listeners and viewers will know that I have been looking for Robin Cook's The Sphinx for ever. Well, somebody sent it to me. I wonder who that person could be. Not sure why there's a pyramid on the front when the book's called Sphinx.
They're like, Sphinx, that sounds Egyptian. Put a pyramid on it.
Well, the Sphinx plays heavy in the plot in that the main character has this hotel room, and at night she can see the Sphinx, and it's like calling to her or something, But I read this when I was a kid because I picked it up at a garage sale, and I didn't really like it as a kid because I wanted a mummy, or something. But it's basically just a really good archaeological suspense story about a female archaeologist. I'm not done with it, and I will do a full review on it. But she's a female Egyptologist who travels to Egypt because it's been something she's wanted to do her whole life. She's her boyfriend's kind of a wishy-washy guy, and she wants adventure. So she be careful what you ask for, because she gets in way over her head really fast. This was a bestseller, and so was The Island, and I talked to you about it a little while ago. About these are my samples of two, or whatever the phrase is. If that's the case, it's understandable why, at least in the 70s, bestsellers were bestsellers, because these are the kind of stories where everything you want to happen happens, and it happens in a logical order. Some people are stupid, like the dad in The Island, and that's why certain things happen. In her case, she just was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and then everybody wants to interrogate her. And there's one night where every time she turns around, she's getting grabbed and pulled into a car and taken somewhere. It's like, I just want to go home and take a nap. But the thing the weird thing about this, and I'll do a full review of it when I'm done with it. But I'm not sure why they do this. But this story is not like a ticking clock. There's no deadline they have to get to. There's no bomb to defuse. There's no curse to whatever. But every chapter and every subchapter, or whatever you want to call it, is time stamped, and I'm like, why? Is it so Robin Cook doesn't have to do things like, she looked over at the clock on the table and it was 11:45? Is that why he did it? It's not necessary. I don't even pay attention to. I got to the point, I'm halfway through. I don't even pay attention to the timestamps anymore. But I wanted to read this because I don't care for medical suspense and coma and all that stuff. This takes place in Cairo, which is something I'm really interested in. And it's weird that he wrote this book and then a bunch of these other kind of weird, almost sci-fi to science fiction type books. But overall, I'm as an elder statesman, I'm enjoying the hell out of this book.
Nice. My last one, barely worth mentioning. I had to read a book for work, and I listen to it instead of reading it. Some books are meant to be read and not listened to. This was one of them. It's called The Art of Uncertainty, which I was excited to read because people don't think about uncertainty very well. And I don't say that as a judgment. I say that as an evolutionary fact. We did not evolve to think about uncertainty in the terms in which it's useful in the modern day.
Yeah.
In fact, using math to calculate probabilities and using statistics to try to draw some conclusions about what might have happened in the past and also what might be happening in the present and in the future, that's a relatively recent field. The ancient Romans, speaking of Goths and Romans, they weren't sitting there calculating probabilities. They were going to the Oracle of Delphi and saying, what do you think's going to happen, right?
Asking some woman whacked out on natural methane.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. She's like, if you attack, a great empire will fall. All right, let's attack. She's like, but I didn't tell you which empire. Okay, which empire?
I never asked which
I shall
empire.
now tell you which empire.
Yeah. And the name of that empire is...
Yeah, so it sounds great, right? Because I'm like, oh, he's going to tell stories and he's going to be like, he's going to allude to how they could have known the uncertainty or it'll be awesome. But no, it reads like a probability and statistics textbook. And it's just going on about formulas. And I'm like, if I were reading it, I could read the story, read the concept, see that there's a formula and go, yeah, I remember doing that in college. I'm not going to relearn it right now. I don't need to calculate the probability, right? And then move on, right? But with the audiobook, it'd be like, and it would be 22 times 2 to the third power, parentheses, times 3.4834 to the 165th. I'm just like trying to do the dishes, like, this ain't working. This ain't working. But it is interesting. One of the things he talks about in here, which I'd seen a TikTok about as well, and it stopped me in my tracks and made me think, as things often do, was if you get a standard deck of cards, 52 cards, right, with the 4 suits and everything, you shuffle it up, you do a good shuffle, you know, nice little shuffle, and you're good at shuffling, you know, congratulations, you are the first person in history to get that exact sequence of cards. Because the odds of that exact sequence of cards is astronomical. And by astronomical, I mean there are more combinations of those 52 cards than there are stars in the universe. Like, if you shuffle the deck like really quickly, it would take like 1 million people 19,000 years to come up with the same shuffle twice or something like that. It's ridiculous because it's 52 factorial, which is 52 times 51 times 50 times 49, all the way down, you know. And it just blows me away because I'm like, that's an amazing fact, but it's statistics, you know, and he did the math on it.
Which proves I'm really bad at math because I always deal myself bad hands when I shuffle. So a little more proof. You know, you talking about doing the audiobook of that would be, to me, it'd be like doing the audiobook of like The Art of War. It's like the guy's reading along, and now there's this really cool picture of a guy on a horse. And then under that, you know, kind of loses something maybe. Exactly.
So I finished that one because I needed to do it for work. And that's pretty much what I've been reading.
Awesome. Well, you know what? Why don't you guys let us know what you're in the middle of reading, what you finished. Those of you that, I know we have a couple people on here that don't have BookTube channels. Let us, and you can play along too. Let us know what you're reading. Let us know what you read. Maybe recommend something. You by now you know what Steve and I like. So maybe recommend something, we'll check
Yeah.
out at some point.
Absolutely. And if you have read any of the ones we've talked about, especially I'm
Yes.
interested in this, if anybody has read The Picture of Dorian Gray, because it's the kind of thing I like. As promised, though, man, expect more like this. We'll do. I know some people don't like reading reports. You probably won't like those. You'll like these, though, because we're just going to be silly.
It's crazy. Some people don't like reading reports. Some people don't like where your whole video is one book. You just do what you want to do.
It's the tapestry of life. Like it takes all kinds. It's a prism, the prism of life. Also, we are excited for some of the stuff we have coming up. So stay tuned. We're sorry it took us a couple weeks to get another video out, but we're going to be, we're probably not going to do more content, but we're certainly going to make it engaging and exciting for you guys.
Yeah. Yep.
And we're going to have a famous actor on next week. Clickbait, verbal clickbait.
That's right.
Which was my band name.
Well, on that note, I'm Paul.
I'm Steve.
And the next time you're looking for something to read,
check yourself.
Absolutely imperative that this job look like a civilian operation.
I expect a little cooperation. I expect you to stay out of my way.
Somewhere in America, a secret war is being waged.
Go.
A war of deception.
It's a daylight hit.
I come over to talk today. I got 2 people dead.
Fought by a phantom army.
Sergeant Buck Atwater killed Laos in 74. How can they be officially dead and 2 of them locked up in there?
It's classified.
Now, he's the only one that stands in their way.
What the hell's the military robbing banks in Texas for?
Termination with extreme prejudice.
Very unusual.
What is?
Ordering the termination of an American civilian peace officer clearly loyal to the country and in the process of bringing a known criminal to justice.
What we're gonna do is we're told. Right, Sergeant?
Kill him. Kill him like an animal.
The only thing that ever scared the hell out of me, Cash, was myself.
We are space age high tech, and we get caught by some Stone Age cowboy.
Nick Nolte. Extreme Prejudice.